Tēnā no tātou katoa I te pōnei. E mihi mahana mō te Maori New Year o te puanga for us in the north, or Matariki. I hope everybody is enjoying that time of remembering the past and also putting some thought into the planning of the future. Kia ora everybody. I just wanted tonight's little discussion or sharing is about, I'm going to call the 5 principles of our Taha Maori World in regards to, there's 2 sides to what I'm wanting to deliver tonight. The 5 standards. Now, these 5 standards were brought about through in the 80s and 70s through the Waitangi Tribunal process when it first began, where the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi were brought about by the government. And our taumata in the far north here, or Taitokerau or Ngāpui Nui Tonu, decided that they would meet those 5 principles because of our position regarding the Māori text of the Te Tiriti o Waitangi. And for first and foremost, I want to give a little bit of a sharing, if I can say that, for these principles that are also required, if I can very kindly suggest to you, that belong to the authors of He Putanga and Te Tiriti o Waitangi. They are very challenging, if I can say it like that, because of the current environment that we're in. It is very difficult to maintain, but with some discipline, I believe we can all achieve these with humility. So the first principle is rangatiratanga. Now, a simple explanation of rangatiratanga is your personal standing within a whānau, and your personal standing within a hapu, and your personal standing within your waka. I'm not going to say within your iwi territory, I'm going to say within your waka territory, because iwi territories didn't exist in 1835, or in fact 1840. So your individual standing in a whānau could be a mother or a father or a brother or a sister. What position do you hold as far as rangatiratanga is concerned? What responsibilities do you have within that position, within that family grouping? The next standing is, I'd like to deliver this in sequences, whanaungatanga. Okay, so your relationship of your standing within that structure, within a whānau structure, within a hapu structure, or within a waka structure. So if you are, for an example, a brother, then in a family structure, then you have you possibly have other siblings. And where is your position within your siblings? Are you the firstborn? Are you the lastborn? And identifying those positions, which gives you a specific responsibilities within their family grouping. Or you could be the mother or the father. So the mother or the father, the whole whānau structure shares responsibilities. For an example, in our family, there's 11 of us in our family, and my mother and father, my father was the bread maker, I'll say it like that, and my mother was the educator, and she educated us all differently to take different responsibilities to meet the need of that entire family grouping. And I, lucky enough, was the fisherman out of the family. There was another sibling of mine that was the cook, and there was another sibling that did the organising. There was another sibling that did made sure all the children were safe. So everybody had their whanaungatanga relationship within their standing under rangatiratanga. The third principle was in regards to manaakitanga. And that manaakitanga concept in this discussion I'm sharing tonight was in regards to your support position. How do you support your siblings, older and younger? If you're in the middle, how do you support if you're the oldest? How do you support if you're the youngest? And so as far as maintaining your rangatiratanga status, okay, and not compromising any of the above, not compromising the whanaungatanga relationship. And the fourth principle within this discussion, kotahitanga. maintaining the principle of your own status and your relationship with the other members within your whānau and your hapu, and your support mechanisms that you have as a that particular position within your whānau and or within your hapu, and how you play a responsibility or your part in maintaining that unit of whānau or that unit of hapu, and not letting anyone down, making sure that you do take full attention of your responsibility. And as I said, and not letting anyone down. Now, one of the fifth principle I really do enjoy, and it's to do with boundaries that you set as that individual within that whānau concept, or that individual within that hapu or waka structure. So, and that one is tū kaipo. Tū kaipo has many ancient meanings, but again, with all due respect to people who are listening, tū kaipo in this discussion is boundaries or consent. Do you give consent? For an example, a simple example, I'd like to share on how that boundary or consent could work. One of the members could be missing or away or not there. Is consent been approved where you can fill that role as well, or fill that space, or ensure that the whanaungatanga relationship and the manakitanga support and the kotahitanga and of the tight unit of your rangatiratanga as an individual person is maintained through the boundaries that are set within yourself as an individual, within your family unit, as a group, and within your extended family unit, your hapu grouping, and also within your waka grouping. In those groupings, your rangatiratanga standing could change as it changes from the whānau into a hapu. It could change subtly. But the change I'm going to suggest isn't for any negative reason, it's for a positive reason, where your status fulfills a hapu role, or fulfills a role of the many hapu within your hapu grouping. Now, the reason why I'm explaining these in very simply, if I can say it like that, is from my own experience. And I'd like to begin by sharing that experience since the launch of the State of the Nation discussion on the 28th of October that has just passed, calling for the Southern tribes to join forces or re-establish alliances that were had of the past with the signatories of Te Hapuku and Te Wheropero. And I want to say that I've met some very good people out there. Now, what has helped me go through this process of meeting many good people was knowing these standards and or these 5 principles within myself, and assuming that other people had those 5 principles, and these good people do express those 5 principles. But what I wanted to share for the purpose of why we're here, I guess, and why you're listening to this discussion tonight. And it's because there are a lot of snakes out there. There are a lot of people that use and abuse and they try to knock good people down. And I've seen a lot of good people being knocked down since the release of the State of the Nation corridor on the 28th of October. And it's really sad to see that these snakes in the grass. And I did a little bit of research over the last few months and learned why these behaviors are happening and what kind of standing or status of rangatiratanga do these snakes have. And I'm going to share this with, and to be as respectful as I can. A snake in the grass, their rangatiratanga status is the status of a narcissist, of a sadistic narcissist. And I know now what a sadistic narcissist is. A sadistic narcissist is, as we all know, my reasoning for sharing this discussion is so that you can use these 5 principles to identify them very quickly, because I've seen some good people, some very genuinely and sincerely good people who want to participate, who want to help, be rendered down very swiftly with a couple of words from a sadistic narcissist. And those sadistic narcissist behaviors can be within your whānau structure. In my case, they are. I have an individual brother who uses and abuses my sisters to get them to do his dirty work for him. But we've identified that by keeping ourselves safe from that. But then we have them in our hapu structure, and we have them right through. And I've met a few since the release, as I've said, of the State of the Nation Corridor, calling the Southern Tribes. And some of the behaviors that these narcissists do, they talk to other people to control me. And they've tried to do that. And they've actually told these people that if they want to get access to me or to the Kaeo office, we've got to come through them. And these are the kinds of things that are done. And another example is where an individual attempted to take our tapu corridor, our sacred corridor, and put it into their own ego and make it their corridor. And, these are the things that good people have shared with us here at the Kaeo office under the concept of kia tūpato, and be careful with these people. And I really do appreciate those comments that are made by these people. But these good people that are out there, these good people that I've met, I'm sharing this with you too, letting you know that I'm thinking about you and we are thinking about one another. And we must maintain that relationship of identifying who these snakes, and now's the time to do it. We've gone past the planning. My particular planning for the next 12 months is to quietly take out these snakes in the grass, or these sadistic narcissists, and pull them away from the good people who are here for a genuine reason. And we can do that together, or we can support one another by doing that. As I've explained, some good people made contact with me and told me, in fact, that these other people were in fact doing that, but they were behaving in a very, very nice way to me. But behind your back, they'll be telling other stories. And I think it's important to share this this evening, to get us started on the new Maori New Year. Because what I also have learned, and this has been quite common throughout the social media, is how we can quite easily lift one another up. It doesn't cost anything to say well done. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't even use any energy to share with somebody the good day you had. And it doesn't cost anything to tell someone, wow, well done, good on you, and keep it up. Because if 100 people were to tell you you're doing well, you're doing great, one sadistic narcissist can come along and say you're an idiot, and take all the thoughts of those 100 good people that you have trying to cheer you along. It can make you forget them, and you'll only focus on that day and that week. In fact, in some cases, is to try and pull yourself together after a sadistic narcissist has whispered in your ear something from that. And another point that these narcissists do is the first thing they try to do is they try to isolate you. And I was isolated by an individual in Japan. He was one Billy Takahika's finance person for a short time, the 200 grand man. And we've recently thrown him to the curb after a length of time of listening to his lies and putting up with his things that he's been trying to get my culture, tangata whenua Māori, to do and jump through hoops for him. And luckily there weren't many people affected in that matter, but we've dealt with him. And we're not finished dealing with him. And all his other cronies that are with him will be dealing with them every day for the rest of this year. And I would like to say, with all the love in my heart to those sadistic narcissists and that individual in Japan, that you deserve what you're going to get. You really do. And you will get it, believe me, because you've toyed with the sacred of our Māori culture here. And those of you who have been touched by that culture know exactly what I'm talking about. So getting back to the positive part of this discussion, these 5 principles are very, very important for us to, if we can't use the English principles, or another culture's principles, then I challenge you to use the Taha Maori principles that I've expressed here this evening for you. I understand what they are. I understand what they're capable of doing. And I also understand what you will achieve as an individual person by surrounding yourself with good people. So in saying that, I would like to leave you with a saying regarding the matter. We're all, I think, and I say this with all the knowledge that I have, a quote from a man that I've come to know. He's not part of our culture, but he has helped our culture in a lot of ways. And if you know what this saying is about, then you understand who said it, you'll know who I'm talking about. And the phrase goes, if the freeing of man has nothing to go into, then the act of freeing is merely a protest of slavery. So I hope that's this little short discussion has been beneficial to you this evening. And I wish you well until next time we meet. Nō reira, kia ora tātou.